Good morning, everybody. What's up? This is Gina Ifoe, the one and only African superstar, with another live stream back at it again. Big shout outs to the family. Big shout outs to all the new subs that have been coming over by way of my new music video, obviously. Liar 2022. I dropped it on June 26th. The official music video is here. It's currently blowing. We're almost at 3,000 views in a little over a week. So that's really excellent. Today, I want to talk about this topic. I think that is very suitable because July 4th was Independence Day in America. And I've gotten this sentiment from several people that I know that have migrated. I've also dealt with it from various members of family and friends. And so I want to talk about why American expats face backlash from friends and family when we choose to move abroad. I can tell you that most major life decisions that I've made have been met with a lot of backlash from people in my environment, my peers, family, and friends. And as I've actually seen how those things have benefited me and how they were actual good decisions for me individually, I'm very resolute in the decisions that I've chosen. But I just want to let you guys know that when you make this decision, 9 times out of 10, you will face backlash from friends and family. And there's a very simple reason why. Okay, there's a very, very simple reason why. The number one reason why is because your family and friends begin to feel left behind. My pastor used to say, the last time I attended a church, my pastor said, your change is an indictment to those that refuse to change. Okay. And what that means is when you decide that you no longer want to engage in a certain activity, or in this case, you don't want to live in a certain environment, what that says to all the people around you is that that environment is no longer suitable. Okay. And they begin to take an offense with that because for one reason or another, they're content in that environment or they're not in a position to do anything about it. And because of that, they begin to lash out at you. Okay, they begin to lash out at you because you're not in the same circumstances or you've decided to make a different decision. Good morning, good morning, good morning, Stacey. Thanks for tuning in. Another reason can also be that they will miss you. They might miss the access to you or spending time with you or whatever. Okay, but I'm going to go back to my number one reason because I believe that that is why a lot of us face backlash. When we're talking about America in particular, okay, you would have to be completely devoid knowledge to understand how dangerous it is in the US, okay, right now. We know that racism is an ongoing thing there. I mean, there's just so many issues and problems there that, like I said, you would have to be completely ignorant to not understand that they are there. With all that going on, you would think that people around us can understand and respect our decision. However, they feel left behind by our decision to no longer engage in that. Because what I've come to know on my journey is a lot of people talk. I'm going to give it a high percentage. I'm going to say like 95% of people talk about this and that and whatever. Probably those of you guys watching me today, you can think of how many of your friends and family complain about circumstances in their environment. Okay, this is not just for Americans, but those of you in the West, you can probably think of so many people that complain about their circumstances. But out of those people that complain about their circumstances, how many people are prepared to do something to change it? And that is why we face the backlash from our peers. Like I said, yesterday was Independence Day in America. I received a couple text messages from family and friends, and they're wishing me happy 4th of July. I mean, it's crazy because first of all, Black people in America know that they're not free. If you get down to the history of Independence Day, when that day was celebrated, some of our ancestors were still locked up in slavery. Okay? Wearing the stars and stripes, representing, and all of that stuff. I mean, it's really an oxymoron when you get to understand the context. And context is very important. I don't skip the context. And skipping the context is also antagonistic to these people who want to live in La La Land, who want to have cognitive dissonance. They don't want to understand, or they don't want to recognize what's going on around them because they don't want the call to action. Okay? If you don't notice the problem or you don't acknowledge the problem, then hey, you don't have to solve it, right? Those of us that have taken the drastic move of saying, you know what, I no longer want to be in this environment. I no longer want my children to be in this environment. I know that my transition to the continent is complex. I know that it's difficult. I know that it, tests my patience, whatever. But I rather do that than live like this. There's a saying, I rather die on my feet than live on my knees. That's the category that we go in because we're not willing to sacrifice our deepest needs, for the sake of doing what everybody else is doing. And it's really crazy because, I mean, I know growing up, people will tell you, don't run with the crowd, don't be afraid to, be an individual. But when you actually do that, it becomes problematic because they feel a certain type of way about the decisions that you make. Because essentially they're calculating that you're saying this is no longer acceptable, and that's why I won't put up with it. When we decide that we're leaving America, we're basically saying, yeah, the US is not good enough for us. We don't want what's perpetuated. We don't want to live the lie, mostly because most folks in America are not living the dream. Most folks in America are going through a lot of stress, a lot of debt. They're going through health problems. They don't have freedom. They don't live in a safe environment. The list goes on and on and on, if you want to be honest. But apparently it takes a lot of courage to align your wants and needs with the actual existence of those things. So when you say, I want to live in a safe environment, what does that mean? What exactly does that mean? When you say you want to eat organic foods, you want to live in nature, you want to live where there's less pollution, huh? You want to have more freedom. What does that mean? It takes immense courage to align, your words with the way that you live your life. And that also intimidates our family and friends that are refusing to take any position. It infuriates them. Also, some people have made huge investments in their life in the West. They feel like walking away from that, they spent their whole life building up that, lifestyle and everything, and starting over. It's a lot of stuff that goes into it. But really, guys, they really kind of resent our courage. Because like I said, you would have to be a complete fool to not see the things that are happening in the US and to not attribute it to potentially what could happen to you. Every time I see a mass shooting, every time I see police brutality, I understand that that's something that can affect me and others by being a part of that environment. I understand that, and I'm not above time and chance. I'm a good girl. I don't run in certain circles. I don't have enemies. I don't run around with weapons. But I understand that being in an environment can make you subject to certain outcomes, irrespective of who you are and how you live your life. All we have to do is go and look at recent news stories from America to understand that a lot of people that are being affected by the situation there shouldn't be victims. A lot of people at the wrong place at the wrong time. I saw recently in Chicago, I mean, it's notorious in Chicago, a lot of children, being affected by drive-by shootings. There was actually a news anchor in Chicago whose 18-year-old brother was shot in a drive-by, I believe last week. He said the boy was a good student, never got into trouble. He was in the process of selecting universities. Now he's gone. I don't want to be a hashtag. And more than that, more than the violence, you got to think about the psychological effects of being in that environment. You know, the psychological effects, in my opinion, were part of the worst. You know, it was the worst thing in the West, because it was something that, you know, you were experiencing, that you had no recourse, that you're trying to be convinced is the norm. You know, it's impeding on your upward mobility. So you get used to the fact that you're going to be treated differently, and there's nothing you can do about it. Okay, so for an ambitious person or for a leader, that is like a very slow death. Knowing that you're being subjected to things that you're powerless to change, and that's the norm, and that's what it's going to be like. And people around you are acting like nothing's going on. You know, and then they try to act like you're crazy. So wait a minute. I'm in the middle of this crazy environment filled with violence, filled with racism, not going to change. I don't have recourse. But I'm crazy for wanting to get out of that situation. I'm crazy. I'm crazy for wanting to align my words with my lifestyle. I'm crazy for wanting to be proactive and prevent a potential problem in the future. I'm crazy for not wanting to impart the knowledge that I have onto the future generations. But this is why, expats, you have to ready your mind for these kind of things, okay? When you step out of the vast majority, that's what I call them, okay? The most of society. When you step out and you decide, you know what, I'm going to walk my own path, you got to be ready for this, because the majority of people are going to reject that. They're not going to say, hey, we're happy for you, Eternal Blossom. Go on over there to Ghana. Go ahead and live your best life. Go on, Gina. Right on. I'm right behind you. No. They're going to come out with the laundry list of this and that and the other. They're going to constantly try to, you know, antagonize you. There are some people that know, obviously I live in Ghana. We don't observe the American holidays here. You know, they're not relevant. Memorial Days, nothing here in Ghana. Independence Days, nothing here in Ghana. I know some expats celebrate Thanksgiving, but that is not a, you know, a Ghanaian holiday, a British holiday. You know, since I moved abroad, to be honest, I have forgotten most of these holidays. I don't celebrate them. I really didn't enjoy them in the West. And now that I live abroad and they're not observed, I really don't even keep track. I have people that every single holiday they send me. Oh, happy Memorial Day, Gina. Happy this, that. Happy Independence Day. Happy. And I'm thinking like, okay, you know, you're just trying to be antagonistic because you know that I don't celebrate them. You know that I don't care about them. And it's you got to get ready for all this stuff. You got to get ready from your family members. Some of your family members will be the ones that are constantly antagonizing you about your decision not to be there. You have to be resolute on that decision. I want to live a long, healthy life. I'm going to do what I need to do to try to achieve that. Okay. I'm all big on probabilities, numbers, and, you know, statistics. I'm very big on that. I'm always trying to optimize my statistics for success and minimize my statistics for, you know, unfavorable outcomes. I don't want the American life. You know, it wasn't as if I was presented options and I chose it. You know, I wasn't presented options that would be the life that I would have. That was the life I was provided, and that was the only option that I was under the pretenses I had. When I began to explore the world and find out, oh, wait a minute, there's other options that I even prefer more. And I actually did what? Align my words with my life. Because unlike so many of our friends back in the States, or some of you guys watching, a lot of people talk about the situation in the West, but they're not ready to do anything. And the way that you know they're not ready to do anything is the minute that they get enlightened that there's options. And they don't take them. They don't explore them. They don't even investigate them. Why? They're not ready for real change. Real change takes commitment. Real change takes investment. Okay? Real change takes innovation. That's why they're not ready to do anything. It's so much easier to sit there and complain. But I can't duck and dodge bullets my whole life. No. And I'm not going to let these people have relevance over my life and my upper mobility. I'm not going to allow that. Sometimes when I think about what I've been hindered from, it makes me so mad. I was talking about this with Monica the other day, my girlfriend Monica. You know, we talk about the time that we spent under the pretenses that we could escalate in the West, and, you know, all the time that we invested in our education, you know, how we could have been able to achieve so much more had we had an understanding of the options. But this is why we get the backlash, guys. This is why we get the backlash. We get the backlash because we had the courage to step out, you know, acknowledge the reality of the situation that we're in, and then align our words and actions together. You know, I'm not someone who likes whining and whining around problems. I can't stand it. You know, I grew up around some people that just complain incessantly. And I would always be trying to present them options to solve the problems, because you can solve so many of your problems. Big shout outs to you guys. If you agree with that statement, let me see your number one. You acknowledge that a lot of your problems you can solve. Number one in the chat room. And I'm going to start shout outs. So please leave me something if you want to be greeted. I understood from a young age, you can solve a lot of your problems. Okay? You can either do this or you can either do that. Sometimes you don't like the options that are there. Sometimes you're going to have to actually like apply yourself to solve it. But the truth is, you can solve a lot of your own problems. A lot of the problems, for instance, Black Americans complain about, they can actually solve. Now, they want to solve it in a certain type of way, right? Racism and, you know, all this discrimination and all this preferential treatment. They want to solve it that way. But no, that's not the way to solve it. That way is not working. It's never worked. They want to protest. That's not also working. They want to cry and beg and plead, and they want people to have some sense of morality. Those solutions are not viable. Those are not working solutions. There are other solutions. I, for instance, have taken one, which is, okay, if this is the environment I'm in and all of these elements are indigenous to this environment, I'll remove myself. It's a solution. It's a solution. I actually got an Instagram DM the other day from one of our family members. You know, and he told me he's tired of white people. He's tired of the way they treat him. He's tired of, you know, talking to them. He's just tired of being in their environments. Okay? How do you solve that problem, for instance? Get out of their environment. Hello. You want to stay in an environment where you're a minority and you're being subject to minority treatment, okay? If you have any intelligence, wherever there's a minority, it's always been this way. The minority gets subject to a lot of things because they are a minority. And they don't have the power and they don't have the numbers, and they really, you know, they can't fight back. Unless, for instance, in that context, the minority is a very powerful group like the Jewish people, okay? Because they know how to operate and circulate wealth within their community, they've become very powerful. They're a minority in America, but they have a lot of power and a lot of control. Okay, unfortunately, our minority groups in the West are not in those positions because we don't want to function as a community. But that's a different topic. So wherever you're a minority, there's certain things that are correlated with being a minority. These things are correlated with being a minority. Okay, there's a way to solve it, and a lot of us may not like it. Some of us feel like, no, I shouldn't have to move. This is my home, and this is okay. Well, you don't have to. You don't have to, but you're going to continue to be subject to that. There's a way to solve your problems, guys. There's always a way to solve your problems. That's not what society tells you, though. You know, because society wants you to be the consummate consumer. Society wants you to be the emotionally unstable person so they can capitalize off of you, so that they can, you know, brainwash you into believing this and that. But there is a way to solve your own problems. There are people that have like a lot of issues with food. I mean, a lot of us should have a lot of issues with food when we see how it's processed and how they're putting all these chemicals in our food and what that's doing to our health and our life expectancy. A lot of us should. Okay, there's a solution to that as well, which a lot of people here in Ghana, including my girlfriend, sister Ya, they are working to solve their own problem. Guess what? Grow your own food. Raise your own livestock. Then you can account for how it's being handled and what's going into it. Chemicals, how the animals or how your plants are being handled, blah, blah, blah. It's a, you know, dramatic solution, but it's still a solution. You know, the truth is we can solve a lot of our problems. This miseducation of our children, huh? There's ways to solve it. You know, start our own schools with our own curriculums or homeschool your own children. Hello. Why people are sitting around letting the system miseducate their kids when they know what time it is, I'll never understand. I don't have kids and I already think about their education. You know, what kind of things would I like to impute into my child? Because I understand that whatever you put in is more than likely what you're going to get out. We put in a lot of nothing into our kids and a lot of nonsense into our kids. We let our enemies educate our kids and we wonder what comes out. You know, all these young kids in America, who's teaching them to be thugs? Who's teaching them to be gangbangers? Who's seeding all this like insecurity? You know, promiscuity and all this stuff. Where is it coming from? Self-hate. Now, I've gone on a tangent, but basically, the reason why we face so much backlash is because we're willing to do it. Okay? We're willing to do it where a lot of our peers are not. You know? And we have become the focal point of so many people's lives. You know, I realized that the other day. I'm like, wow, I posted a post on my TikTok. I must legit be the most exciting thing on your timeline, because the fixation that I'm experiencing from some people that are close to me, it's as if they have nothing else to do. I mean, honestly, it's like there must just be no one else on your phone to watch, because you have a comment every day. You're constantly on my social media. You're constantly sending me texts. And it's like, we have become the focal point. We're legit the most exciting thing in some people's lives, because we're doing something unconventional that can't really be calculated. We know how our peers and friends and family are living in the West. We know exactly what it is. We know what it is because we were in it. We lived the same life. You know, I've recently started to understand it takes so much courage to do what we're doing. You know, and I want to encourage those of you that are on this journey. I see several of my girlfriends in here, Stacy and Eternal Blossom. You know, these are ladies that have moved from America here to Ghana. You know, Stacy's moved here with her children, her husband, her mom. You know, she picked up shop. She's got a business here in Ghana. I know that, you know, we go through the ups and downs. I know Eternal Blossom's going back and forth. She has a husband here, but her daughter's in school in the US, so she has to go back and forth. You know, but at the end of the day, guys, we have the heart and tenacity to do it. It is going to isolate us. There's going to be a lot of people that are jealous because they know what it is, but they don't have the tenacity to see it through. I think, you know, most people that have moved here, they've all expressed that to me. That, you know, their friends have started acting funny when they moved. Their family started acting funny. People are making little comments on their social media. It's because we actually had the courage to align our wants and needs with our actions, guys. And that's a rare thing. It's a rare, rare thing. It's so much easier just to sit there and complain about it. But if you're like me, you want solutions, okay? I'm not the type to just be crying and crying and crying about how I'm being mistreated and how the environment is and blah, 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 and all the things I don't like. I'm not that type. You know, as soon as I got provided with intel about potential options, I was on it. You know, I took my very first trip to the UK in 2014. I earned my citizenship in the UK in 2015, and I moved there in 2017. So within 5 years of going to a place that I was interested in being in, I was there. I was there. When I got to the UK and I grew discontent with that, I said, okay, let's head to the continent. I moved to the continent within 2 years. You know, that is called being about what you talk about. You know, using your time and effort and exerting it on a potential solution, then focusing on the problem. Black people in the West have focused on the problem for decades. We know the problem inside and out. We know the problem. We know the problem. The problem is not where all your focus should be. The solution to the problem is where your focus should be. That way you don't have to talk about the problem. You don't have to deal with the problem. I tell you guys all the time, I don't have the same problems that you guys have. You know, some people might get upset and, you know, oh, Gina, you're arrogant. I'm just keeping it real. Because I don't have the same problems anymore. Because I've changed my environment. You know, it makes me feel good not having to worry about those kind of problems anymore. You know, it's less stress and emotional worry not having certain problems anymore. But that's what comes with solving a problem. That's why I always promote you guys to solve your own problems. It's not for anybody else to do. It's for you to do. You, because we all have different lifestyles and we all have different things going on at different times. Okay. You might have loving people and concerned people in your life, but they have their own things going on. You know, sometimes they can be there for you. You know, they can be a listening ear, but your problem is not their problem. Your problem is not their number one priority. And I think when more of us start taking responsibility for our lives and producing the solutions to our own problems, we'll be in a better position. Don't you dare look at me and be jealous. Don't you dare. You know, don't feel no type of way about the diasporans that are making it happen here on the continent or finding their way to the continent. Don't. Because all that means is that you're not putting your energy into your own problems and your own solution. Some of you guys, even on my platform for years now, you know, some of you got introduced to me during COVID. All right. That was 2020. It's now 2023. Matter of fact, we are entering into the third quarter of the year. Okay. It's now July. You got less than 6 months of 2022 left. You guys have been talking about you want to travel to Africa. You need to get your passport. You just want to come to Ghana. How long exactly does it take? Have you even looked at plane tickets to see that they're like, you can get deals sometimes $500, $600. You can get round trips. You can get certain deals. I mean, you're not serious about it. You know what I'm saying? How can you begin the journey if you won't start the journey? Some of you guys, you talk about, oh, one day I will move to the continent. You need to facilitate that blueprint if that's your plan. Because otherwise, it's very unwise to just do it without any planning. And this is why, you know, expats are under attack. You know, especially those of us that are choosing the continent. If when I moved to the UK, I did get some backlash, but not the kind of backlash that I have now that I'm in Ghana. You know, people really are upset about my decision to choose the continent. But I chose the continent for strategic reasons. And I'm very smart and intelligent. So that should tell you, you don't need to counteract my decision because I'm within my wherewithal to make decisions for myself. You know, and quite frankly, nobody knows what suits your life better than you. You know, what suits the next person is for them. You might want something different. I know, for instance, like my mom, okay, my mom loves the seasons, okay? She likes winter time and she likes, you know, watching everything, the spring blossom and all that. Me, I don't care nothing about no seasons, okay? I don't like winter at all. I don't like cold weather at all. My mom enjoys the seasons of living in the West. I enjoy the tropicality of living here in Ghana. Hello. If I never saw another snowflake, it's cool. Seeing it on TV is all good. I never liked it. You know, when I lived in the West, every winter used to hit me like the first winter, and I hated it. I remember so many times my mom would be like, "You never dress warm. You never." I don't like winter dressing. Okay. I hate wearing a coat every day, covering up my outfit. And socks. I don't like socks. You know, you learn how to adapt and cope with stuff, but if you're honest, it's not what you like. You know, it's why I just love Ghana. You know, being able to go to the beach at any time, being able to get in the pool. You know, it's even warm here at night. It's great. I love it. You know, what suits you is not necessarily for the other person. All the more that you guys should persist to create the life that you need and that you want. Okay? Because what the other person needs and wants may be different. All right? And let's respect each other's differences. Some of you guys, maybe that watch me, you know, you are that antagonistic person. You are that person who is disturbing the visionary in your realm. You know, you are that person who keeps on berating the leader in your realm. Just respect what they're choosing to do. None of us are children. The majority of my viewers are 30 and up. Okay. So people are adults making adult decisions. Okay. And the fact that maybe you choose to remain in the West, that's your decision. You know, I also encourage those of you moving here to the continent, do not, you know, try to coerce those in the West to come here. Let your life be an example. That's all you got to do. Okay? Stop having useless arguments with these people. Just ignore them. Just let it be. Okay? If they want to stay over there and gamble and take the risk, let them do it. Okay? If they want to have cognitive dissonance, if they want to continue to believe that something that has not changed in centuries is going to somehow change in their lifetime, let them do it. All your focus and effort needs to be on your lifestyle and solving your own problems. Okay? Right now, I'm doing my music project. That's where all my energy is going. That's where all my resources are going. Okay? When people try to provoke me, I typically ignore them, because I don't want to expend any of my valuable energy that I could be using, you know, on the end result on that. What is an argument going to get me? Is that productive behavior? What is a back and forth discussion with someone on Facebook or a text message going to get me? The time and the like the stress. What is that going to, how is that productive? Now I can take that very same time. Let's say I wasted 30 minutes going back and forth with someone on a text message. Okay. That 30 minutes, I could be listening to music. I could be composing. I could be at the studio. I could be doing my social media. I could be corresponding with fans. I could be checking emails. You feel me? You know, it's all about maximizing your time and effort. I'm an independent artist, for instance. I have done, it's remarkable when I think about it, you know, that it hasn't even been a year. All right. And I've already recorded, you know, I currently have 7 tracks recorded, 5 are released, and I have 4 official music videos. Okay. The 4th one's not released, but I've already shot 4 music videos. How have I been able to do that since October? Okay, because I've been on task and I don't waste time with unnecessary things. I'm trying to make sure that I'm using the majority of my time to achieve my goals. You know, when I decided to come here to Ghana, it didn't take me 20 years to do it. I buckled down. I made the blueprint. I did what was necessary, and I'm doing it. I'm living it. Maximize your time and effort, guys. Don't worry. For those of you that are getting ready to move, understand that you're going to get the backlash from your friends and family because of the reasons that I've gone over. Okay? Anticipate it. So when it happens, it shouldn't shock you. It should not shock you. Those of us that have gone before you are preparing you to understand that this is a part of it. Okay? Whenever you decide you're going to make a change, those people around you start feeling some kind of way for various reasons. They're not in a position, they feel offended, they're going to miss you. They lack courage. They're jealous, and it's a part of it. So that's the message that I brought to you guys today. Sorry, I didn't do shout outs, but let me greet those of you that are still here. What's up, TT? I see you there. Big shout outs. We got Miss Aquila here. Thanks for watching me today. She said, I came to the conclusion long ago that most people just like to complain or believe they have no options. Now, Miss Aquila, she's a retiree that has moved here to Ghana. Okay. She, I actually had a nice lunch with her a couple weeks ago, and she's remarkable. She totally inspires me because some people, at that point in their life, they would say, well, I spent the majority of my time here in America. She had a house and everything, totally established in America and living in Georgia. And she picked up and is navigating a new life here in Ghana. And I see it on Facebook. A lot of her friends and family, always making stupid comments and stuff like that. But see, Miss Aquila, she snaps back. She claps back on them, though. She's a testament that when you want to solve problems, when you really want to do something, you do it. Her friends and family, some of them, they think she's crazy for selling her house and moving to Ghana in her senior years. But she did it anyway, because it's what she wants to do. Big shout out to Miss Aquila. What's up, Frank? I see you there. Hi, family. Make sure you like the stream if you're here. Stacy says, just move in silence. No explanation is needed about what's best for you. Please take this advice, guys, because a lot of you guys talk too much. And you're always seeking validation. You're always seeking, the opinions of others. Let me tell you, people that are not doing what we're doing, they can't really advise you on what we're doing. Okay, the advice that they're going to give you is regurgitated advice that everybody gives you because they've never done it. How can someone who has never moved outside of their country or never moved to Africa advise you on how to do it? They can't. They don't really have the wherewithal to do it. Maybe they've even watched YouTube. They can tell you about the YouTube videos, but in terms of the actual process, they cannot advise you. So stop wasting time talking to people that can't advise you about the things that you're trying to achieve. Just go forward. Just do it. Just do it. Big shout outs. What's up? What's up? What's up? Frank is saying America is no more safe. Everyday shooting. Why? Exactly. People migrating away from America are smart. Hello? They see the writing on the wall. Before they catch a bullet up in their behind, they want to get out of harm's way. Instead of our friends and family understanding that, they want to give us hardship. It's very clear. It's even being exposed more and more to the international community, how ridiculous it is in the States. Those of us that have lived there, we've known this because a lot of this stuff has been going on, but it's not broadcast around the world. But now the frequency is getting so excessive that they can't keep it quiet, plus social media. Big shout outs to the African superstar family. What's up, Yayo? I see you there. So big shout outs to all of you guys for stopping by. I just want to try to ready and prepare, again, people that are trying to embark on this, what you're going to go through so that you can be ready for it, okay? Do not exert a lot of energy on this thing right here. The fact is, we will leave people behind. I know it's a harsh reality people don't want to hear. We will leave people behind. We will. We will. Everybody's not ready. Everybody's not in a position. Everybody's not willing. Some people, a lot of people are ignorant. It's a part of it. Okay? You cannot apologize for your own survival. Okay? You can always be helpful if you choose. You can always remain, optimistic. But this is about survival. Okay? You can't apologize for people that are not survival minded. Because again, this very fact. Okay? If you don't see what's happening in your environment, you refuse to see it. And I can't understand how anyone in America can refuse to see the increased frequency of violence, especially Black people. How they refuse to see police brutality, how they refuse to see the protesters not working. Okay? That other options need to be considered. All right? They're not focusing on their own survival, clearly. If that's the situation, you can't apologize because you're ready to survive and you're ready to do what it takes in order to survive. You can't apologize for that. I don't apologize for leaving the US. I don't apologize for living here on the continent. It's wise. It's wisdom. Getting out of harm's way is wise. Even for those of you guys that know the Bible says wisdom is the paramount thing. In all you're getting, get wisdom. Get wisdom. Okay? Wisdom can make your life go smoother because you're thinking ahead. You're strategizing ahead. You're paying attention to your environment. You're making calculated decisions. Wisdom. I would be unwise to sit in the middle of a chaotic environment thinking that it's not going to touch me because I'm so special and I'm so dynamic and I live my life in a certain way. No, those are always the people that are profoundly affected by nonsense that goes around them. You know, the person who tries to mediate the fight is the one. The innocent bystander is the one. The community leader is the one. And everybody says, well, why? Such good people. Why did this happen? Because of your environment is part of it, fam. You got to watch your surroundings as part of it. You got to watch the company that you keep. You got to move in silence. You got to strategize and make decisions for ahead. You got to pay attention to a lot of stuff if you're wise. And if you're wise and you understand that you don't got to explain your survival to no one. If other people are not prioritizing their survival, that's their problem. I'm sorry. That's their problem. Especially people that are in a position to take up other options. You know, some people, I just don't want to leave. I just don't want to. Okay. If you just want to be in that environment, then you are subject to that environment. Just take it as it comes. Take it as it comes. And don't be in my ear. I mean, people don't complain to me about America because they already know I would prompt them to take action on their belief. Because obviously I have. And then they will say, well, Gina, not everybody can do it. And this, listen, that stuff doesn't fly with me. I'm sorry. It doesn't fly with me. I moved out of the US without family support. Okay. I've lived in 2 countries without family support, without capital. Okay. I had to negotiate what I was going to do. It took me years in both instances. You know, 2 years to leave the US to move to the UK, 2 years to leave the UK to move to Ghana. I'm not a Ghanaian. I don't have family here. I don't speak the language. All your excuses ain't going to fly with me because I made it happen because I was determined. You know, so many of you guys have way more assets to help you make these transitions and help you do stuff. But you're just lazy and you just make excuses. So go ahead and take the things that are subject to your particular environment. Go ahead and take them. Because unless you're ready to align your words with your life, you're not serious. And I can't offer up any sympathy. I really can't. I'm sorry. I can't. I can't really respect people that will not align their words with their actions. You know, because there's an old saying, we're saying talk is cheap. Anybody can say anything. How am I supposed to trust you if what you say doesn't match up with what you do? It means that you're not serious, you're not trustworthy. And when it comes down to survival, see, some of you guys have this false sense of safety where you are. Because basically, you've been fortunate enough not to be a victim yet. But I always tell you, and I'm closing with this, big shout outs to you guys. Make sure you've liked the stream if you are here. Okay? The people that have recently become victims of whatever situation, they knew about previous victims. Okay? People that became victims of police brutality, they knew about the people that preceded them. They knew about the innocent people that were at the wrong place at the wrong time and had the wrong encounter and resulted in a loss of life, mostly for those of Black people. Okay, these mass shootings, school shootings, you guys knew about the last one. You heard about the last one. I encourage you to put yourself in the shoes of these people. Go ahead and put yourself in the shoes of those people that were shot up in Buffalo at the grocery store. Could it not be any of us? Were any of them, creating a crazy situation? Were any of them? No, they were totally random victims at the wrong place at the wrong time. What about those people on the subway trains in New York when the guy started shooting in the subway train? You guys have a false sense of safety. Don't get mad at me because I don't have that. Okay, I see myself in these same circumstances as everyone else. When I'm in the UK, I take public transportation. I don't have a car. Anything that happens on a train could happen to me. Certainly I go to the grocery store, get food. Certainly, I haven't been to the cinema in a while, but I used to go to the cinema all the time. Where a lot of these shootings and stuff is happening, I could have easily been involved in certain things at some times because I've been there. Now it's a fact that those things are not happening on the continent at all. Like, basically, mass shootings are not happening here in Ghana, period. Y'all done had hundreds of mass shootings in the U.S. in the past 2 years I've been living here in Ghana, and we've had zero. We've had zero school shootings. Huh? Zero police brutality. So the probability of me being involved in a lot of things here is not it's not probable, basically. And also, I know I said I was wrapping up, but one more thing, because I just had so much on my chest to say. Those of you people living in that environment but constantly asking us how we're doing over here, how about you learn the statistics? Okay, you live in a dangerous environment. We do not. Nobody would leave, a comfortable, successful life to live in abject poverty. Okay, we're not living in abject poverty over here. It doesn't even make sense that we would do something like that. You think we're crazy, but are you crazy? Because nobody would leave an elegant lifestyle to go live in poverty. Does it look like I live in poverty? Every time you see me, I'm partying. Always dressed up, hair always done. Living a good life, rested. Chilling at the pool and at the beach. Does that look like abject poverty? I mean, is that how homeless people live? So anyway, I gotta go. But this is the message that I wanted to pass along. It's a part of your migration, so you should anticipate it. People will try to frustrate you. I encourage you not to engage them. If people are antagonizing you like through social media, consider blocking them, consider deleting them. You know, if it's a family member, just ignore when they try. I have a particular family member, I know when they're going to start. You know, I can just tell, and I just ignore them. You know, they'll send me a text message, you know, something provocative, and I'll just be like, psh, you know, I'll just ignore it, because I'm not going to negotiate my wise decision to not be in a crazy environment with you. You know, if you're not thinking about your survival, that's on you. I just hope and pray that you never become a victim, because the probability is extremely high. You know, especially you having to be out there going up and down. You know, some people may be like retirees, they can utilize delivery services, so they're not going out a lot, they're getting food ordered to the house, they're getting their groceries to the house. Okay, you know, you may not be out a lot in the public, but for those of you guys, you got school age kids, you're going to work, you're driving, hello, all these things are involved, a lot of drama, road rage, school shootings, grocery store I mean, you know what I mean? You're using public transportation. Hello, I encourage you guys to think about it. I really, really do. You know, and where there's a will, there's a way. You may look at your circumstances and think, gosh, I just can't do anything. But you can't. You can solve a lot of your own problems if you put your head to it. There's a lot of us that are finding our solutions, period. Without resources, without capital, we're making it happen some kind of way. You can't solve your own problems. Put all the energy that you are using, acknowledging the problem, and harness that on to solving it. And I can guarantee, if you start with that, if you do that energy shift, you'll be able to see something. I promise you that. I promise you that. But guess what? You will never see any solution if all your energy is just on the problem. If that's what you do, you will get nothing from that. You will absolutely get nothing from that. You know, and big shout outs to those of you that know how to align your words with your lifestyle. Okay, the kind of person they know, oh yeah, when she says this, when he says this, I can count on that. I know it's going to come to pass. That person always delivers what they say. I applaud you, because we are few and far between. It takes a lot of courage to align your words with your lifestyle, because you could be just like your peers and keep on harping about what's wrong and doing nothing about it. So really, I gotta go now. Until we meet again, stay black and true. If you ain't black, just stay true.